Hello, family, and welcome to another episode of Role Model Experts Cafe. I'm your host, Dr. L, the Parent Whisperer, and today with me, I have a very special guest, Miss Debbie Page. She is wonderful. I had an opportunity to talk to her earlier, and I love how she shows up, her message, and I wanted to have her tell you a little bit about herself, her message, how she showed up the way she does, and what her passion is, and then we'll go from there. So, Debbie, welcome to the show. Thank you, our guest, for being here, and we look forward to hearing more about what you do. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I would say, first of all, I am a mother of three grown children and a very proud grandmother of six children now.
Nice.
And I just have had a passion for working with moms for many, many years. I've worked with moms and babies for over 40 years and just love empowering women to become the best version of themselves that they can. And whether that means how they go through with their labor and their delivery, how they work out their breastfeeding journey, how they raise their children when they get to be 3, 6, 9. I just really enjoy being a part of moms' lives.
I love that. I mean, it's a true passion of mine, and you're an experienced mom. So you definitely can identify with a lot of the audience members that we have here today. So, how did you get involved in this? I know that you're a lactation consultant. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes. And for a large part of my career as a registered nurse, I worked in labor and delivery and then started doing a little bit with the postpartum as well, and found out I had a real love of working with mothers who were wanting to breastfeed. And that's when I became a lactation consultant. And a little bit further down the road, I started my own private practice as a lactation consultant because I found that there's only so much you can do when a mom's only in the hospital for 24 to 48 hours, and then they go home, and who is there to help them? And that community service of working out in the community as a lactation consultant really served a tremendous need for these moms. And then that branched into me starting mom and baby groups, which I ran for about 10 years and just thoroughly enjoyed that. Had them come, twice a week. And so, yeah, so I've enjoyed both, working as a nurse in labor and delivery and postpartum, but also as a lactation consultant.
I remember the terror and the horror when I was a first-time dad. When at the hospital, my wife had a C-section, and we stayed overnight, and whatever the amount of time that we were in the hospital, and
Uh-huh.
eventually when they came and said, "All right, you're good to go," it's like, "Are you sure? Can I stay for a couple more? At least show me how to wash this thing."
No, really. I know. And the poor mother feels like she's been in a car wreck. I mean, she's just sort of beat up after having a baby.
Exactly.
And then they just pack you all up and they say bye. And you're like, oh my goodness, what do I do now? And I like to say, mom goes home and she's just, clueless as to what to do. Of course, the baby is helpless, and dad oftentimes is just hopeless. He doesn't know what to do.
Yep. Oftentimes when you're getting a job, you have more training that goes into that than when you come home with a
It's so
baby, right?
true.
So
Yes.
amazing. So how did you make the transformation from that private practice to what you do today?
Well, oh, that's a good question. Well, so I think I took a little bit of time off, quite a bit of time off actually. And then I began to realize, well, I'm not ready to be done yet. I, I I believe that we should live life as if we have 1,000 years.
Hmm.
And so we build and we produce, we do whatever we need to do to just be, fruitful people. And I, so I started looking around and I thought, what can I do? And that it would still serve mainly moms and children. And that's when I got involved with creating a summit to actually inspire moms in all areas of life, not just, with their breastfeeding, but in all areas of life.
Right, right. There's just so many different job descriptions for a mom. It's just unbelievable. It's never ending, actually. So yeah. So my hat's off to you for providing this support. We have very similar passions and very parallel as far as what we want to do and achieve in life in supporting parents and moms. So definitely. All right. So we definitely know that this is an important thing, that in the sense that, you know, the future of humanity is at stake here, literally.
Mhm.
So that's the importance of it. But what are some of the challenges that you personally have seen, both in your journey in parenthood, as well as what you see in your line of work and your business?
Well, I think one of the biggest things, and this touches right into who you are, is that moms need role models. And I remember very, very vividly this, in fact, it brings me to tears. This one woman who came to me and she said, "Can I sort of adopt you as my mom? Because
Oh,
I grew up in a family, my mom didn't like me. She still doesn't like me." And she said, I need somebody who can believe in me. And that was that was huge for me because it was it's such an opportunity for me to look at myself and say, well, what can I do to empower this mom? And what can I do to empower other moms who sometimes do have some of the similar situations? But even if they don't have a similar situation to that, I see moms coming and they're really desperate to find people who can give them some wisdom. There's, as you say, there's so many different job descriptions for moms, and they're scrambling to try to figure it out. And oftentimes they're exhausted. Sometimes, in fact, many times they're not getting a lot of support from dad, but a lot of times that's because dad just doesn't know what to do either, and he gets overwhelmed. And I just feel like, there has to be role models and mentors for these moms and these families, because as you say, humanity is at stake.
right. I found out, somebody once told me and made a big impression on me, that truly, if you think about it, the first teacher that you've had in your life has been your mom, right?
Mhm.
And so we're looking at humanity's teacher, the very first teacher for the next generation, are the moms. So how they show up in the world, what they can do for the kids, the support that might be available for them to achieve all of this makes a huge impact on how we move forward just from one generation to the next. And, whereas before we used to have these extended families that might have been able to step in and fill in, right now, with careers and the challenges and the mechanistic and the pace of life and everything that happens to be, moms are having less and less of a role model, less and less of support in fulfilling those tasks. And so I find that to be a real big dilemma that's impacting the next generation, and they don't even know about it when they're born. So just like the story that you talked about that mom that is looking up to you as far as you being the mom, basically the adopted mom,
Mhm.
right? That child that they are having, they don't know any difference about which kind of mom they're getting, right? So,
Exactly.
so it's important for these innocent kids to make sure that they get supported as much as possible to lead a full life, right? So, in doing so, um, what are sometimes what are your tips and solutions for new moms and expecting moms? And then also, I know that things change as we become more experienced, but our parents who are more experienced or have had kids before, do they have different sets of challenges to deal with?
Well, perhaps they do, but I think there's basics that if they can learn some of these basics early on, especially either before they're pregnant or while they're pregnant, before they actually are in that day to day taking care of this human being who can't do anything for itself. I One of the things I think is so critical that is that a mom needs to learn how to take care of herself first. it's so easy to get plunged into being a mom and just forgetting that there are certain things that you need to do for yourself in order for you to be the best person you can be for this little person or these little people who are in your life. So that's a big one, I think, learning to take care of herself first.
Yeah, I totally agree. I oftentimes say that, brains are reality emulators. They take what the universe looks like and they try to recreate it inside the brain. So those young little brains, that's what they're doing. So oftentimes it's so much easier to create this model for them that's a functional model of a family, of a healthy life, of a thriving life, a successful life. And then they just internalize it and adapt it to themselves and who they are. So if we can do that as moms, as dads, what ends up happening is they understand that, it's not that everybody else comes first and then I come last.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the working model that we've had for such a long time. That's why we struggle so much as parents, because we don't have that model, right? Dad is working his tail off, mom is
Mm-hmm.
coming last and, taking care of everybody else. So the kids realize that, hey, when I grow up, this is what parenting is all about. And many people realistically have fears about becoming a parent because they're like, I've got a job, I've got all these other responsibilities. How am I going to fit a kid into my life as well? So,
Yes. And thinking about how we come across to our children, I saw almost on a daily basis with the moms coming into my office to see me for breastfeeding issues. They were oftentimes just at their rope's end and they were so stressed out. They were on the verge of tears, if not already crying.
right.
And because I was working in a private practice, I had that flexibility to spend a lot of time with moms. So sometimes I would get mom and baby skin to skin, and I'd turn out the lights and I'd say, I'm leaving, and all I want you to do is just snuggle with your baby skin to skin, and let's wait and get everybody calmed down, then I'll come back. And it was miraculous what that would do. Of course, it got lots of oxytocin going,
Yes,
and
exactly.
mom would calm down, baby would calm down, then we could work on breastfeeding.
Right.
But I think that's so true. Even if you have a 2-year-old or an 8-year-old, if you're stressed out and you're yelling at the children, or you never feel that you are ever able to take care of yourself, then the children just learn all of that. And that's just the way they start to show up as well.
Right. It's interesting to be in tune with the children in that sense. So first of all, I've seen this over and over again, how when a child is not exactly 100%, moms have this natural tendency to reflect back that that's partly their fault, that it's their parenting or their ability to be there. So which is not necessarily true. And we need to make sure that there is that separation, that they're their own entity responsible for themselves just as much as a mom can be a parent, basically. But then the other part is being in tune with a child's needs. I remember I asked my son when he was younger, I said, how do you know when I love you? And he said, when I'm being tickled. And it totally threw me off. I'm like, okay, so now when I want to show him love, I hold him really tight and just tickle him as much as I can.
Oh,
And
I
he
love that.
totally enjoys it. But that's something that I would have never guessed, because that's just not how I would have perceived feeling loved. And that's his love language, right? So
Yes.
so
Oh,
so having that connection to be able to see how people receive love is important. And oftentimes it's not necessarily big chunks of time. Sometimes it could be just small little gestures that virtually take very little effort or time and resources, right?
yes.
Awesome. Very cool. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and the programs that you offer as well.
Well, I will be offering a program designed to really help mothers get off on the right foot for breastfeeding. And I have found through the years of working with moms that so much of it starts in the mind, that if you think that you're just going to try this, then you're oftentimes setting yourself up for failure because you're telling your brain, well, I probably can't do it, but I'm going to at least try it. So they need to know that, no, you know what? People have been breastfeeding for thousands of years. Now, there may be a few reasons that could keep you from being, completely successful with breastfeeding, success being defined by whatever you set for your own goals. But learning how the body works, how the brain works, and how the baby works when it comes to breastfeeding is really critical. So I look forward to moms being able to access this course and really get themselves in the right mindset so breastfeeding can be something that they really love and enjoy doing.
And what are your recommendations for expecting parents?
Well, I would say it's a funny thing that when you're expecting a baby, you spend oftentimes 8 weeks, sometimes 12 weeks preparing for your labor, which only lasts usually less than 24 hours, and then it's over and done with. I would much rather see you spend those number of hours learning about a baby, learning about a baby's brain, learning about how your body and your baby's body work together, especially in the whole realm of breastfeeding. And go ahead and spend time lining up mentors for yourself so that you have people there. And just I like to say, just expect that you're going to start off your baby's new life with mentors in place or a mentor in place. Don't wait until you get home from the hospital, the baby didn't sleep all night. Now you don't know if you have enough milk, or now you're engorged or whatever. And now you're desperately trying to find somebody, and who knows who you're going to end up finding. So anyway, get that mentor lined up first so that you have somebody in place that you can call the second you have your baby and get them lined up to be in your house, within 24 hours of getting home from the hospital.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And from now, like starting before the baby arrives, try to carve out time that you are going to have people that are going to come in, right?
Yes.
So that you can step away and take care of yourself. Very, very important. Your baby needs that. You need to do that for your baby, actually. Oftentimes, especially if you're service oriented, you've got this heart that wants to keep giving, right? And moms are like at the epicenter of that, and they just want to keep giving. But it's important for the babies to learn that sometimes you come first. The self comes first, right?
Yes.
So,
I really like for moms to just look at that time after the baby comes as 6 weeks of just you and the baby and dad, and have, as you say, line up people to help with the laundry, to bring in meals, to do your grocery shopping. Typically, most people have enough family and friends that love doing those types of things. Sometimes they're afraid to ask, but if you say, will you be willing to be my person who comes in, twice a week to do our laundry or whatever, people just love it.
absolutely.
So yeah, definitely take care of yourself those first 6 weeks, and you will find that time you will never ever regret that you didn't do the laundry and you didn't do the grocery shopping, but you were snuggling with your baby.
Yep. Yeah, they grow up fast, so you won't have that time for long. So soak in every second of it. And like you said, think of it as an investment also, because the time that you put there will help you free up your time in the future, because the babies are going to have less complications, less issues that will require attention down the road as well. So when it comes to children in general, it's an investment. You put your time in on one end, and then on the other end, you get your time back, then some. And it's important for us to not forget that things are not about convenience when that new one arrives. Basically, it's about maximizing their potential.
Oh, that's an excellent way to say it, that it's yes. And think about the babies needing a 4th trimester. And that 4th trimester means that baby is with you as the two of you are getting to know each other, and as your body's adjusting to being a mom and whether you breastfeed or not, that those 3 months right after the baby's birth are just crucial for the baby's development.
That was perfectly said. It's a biological fact, guys, that humans are not fully developed and their gestation is not finished by the time they're born. We're one of the only species that's like that. We need our big heads to kind of develop and our brains to grow. So our gestation kind of completes once we're out of the womb. So the job is not done with the pregnancy until a few months after the baby is born.
Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. Very good. So Debbie, tell us a little bit more about how people can find out more about you and connect with you. We'll go from there.
Okay, so you can always email me. I'm very, very happy to have people email me, and that is Debbie, which is Debbie at Deborah Page, and that's DebraPage.com. You can also check me out on inspiredmomsummit.com, and that is all about the summits that are coming up, and there'll be 3 to 4 summits a year on that platform. So I encourage you to check that out as well. And then also on Facebook, you can find me just as Debbie Page on Facebook, but also the Newborn Baby is a group on Facebook that you can check out as well.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much. I'll make sure that I put those in the description box. So for you guys, make sure that you check the description box. Make sure that you click on the links and connect with Debbie. We would love to have you guys have as much support as possible, not just for yourself, but to also ensure your child's potential as well. If you have not already done so, click subscribe so that you'll get the latest of the interviews on the Experts Cafe. And we look forward to seeing you on future episodes as well. Debbie, any final words for our audience members today?
Well, I like to tell moms to keep yourself and your family calm and confident, full of fun and movement, joy and laughter, and celebrate your mama moments, because before you know it, they're going to be grown and out of the house. Yeah. So celebrate every moment you can.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Debbie, for carving time out of your busy schedule. We love and appreciate you and look forward to seeing you in our future events as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. L. Appreciate it.